I thought I'll just do a little 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, see how we go. A little bit of a shoulder release for those of you getting a little bit tight across the neck, shoulders. Just using a ball. Now just remember, if you have any arthritis, osteopenia, anything like that around your neck and your shoulder area, can you perhaps modify it by putting a couple of blocks at least underneath your head, so you're not going into too much extension in your spine. So we're going to begin with putting the ball down. I'm only going to have one block, but as I say, if you've got any neck injuries, that sort of thing, osteopenia, you'll need a little bit more support for your head, so your head doesn't drop back so much. Right, so we've got the ball here. If you haven't got one of these, you might be able to use a rolled up towel or something, or just another cushion, but ideally this is meant to be done with this little soft ball. This one's a 9-inch soft ball, and that's from Pilates Mad. Right, so I'm just going to move my hips forwards and then hold behind the back of my legs, gently bring myself onto the middle of the ball, underneath, in between my shoulder blades, and then just picking up the hair, just get that out the way for a moment, and just let your head drop back. Now, just because I've got the ball here, it doesn't mean that's in the right position for you. So you could lift your bottom up and just move it forwards and backwards until you find the correct position that you feel comfortable on the ball, okay? So just going to begin by just letting the head drop back into the hands. Notice how I've got my elbows lifted up, okay? So also notice how my front ribs are just lifted slightly up towards the ceiling. That's obviously because the board is behind me, it's taking me into extension. So this is why I need you to have an extra block underneath your head if that is too much for you. Okay, so if you can let your head just rest into the hands, and then nice and heavy with the pelvis and the feet, breathe in, and then just going to move the ball back with the back rib cage. The lower ribs are pushing the ball back, and I'm just going to feel my lower back dropping into the floor, but I'm not tipping the pelvis. Okay, and then just let your head drop back into your hands, breathing in, and then breathing out to come forwards. Okay, so nice and quiet in the pelvis. So basically what we're doing is taking the spine into flexion and into extension. Okay, so the spine likes to go into different directions. Okay, so just coming forwards and backwards. And just sliding the ribs down towards the pelvis, a bit like a chest lift. If you come to the classes, you'll notice this is very much related to that exercise. Okay, now just let your head drop back into your hands and see if you can just make yourself that tiny bit more comfortable, and just let your arms drop out to the side. If you wanted to, you could straighten your legs if that gave you any back pain, so maybe it's too much extension for you. Put your feet back onto the mat for me. Okay, and just stay here for a moment, and what you'll notice is the front of the chest, down through the fingertips, out through the arms, both sides are just starting to open. Think about the length you're trying to create here. So a lot of the time, and particularly at the moment with the isolation, we're finding that we're sitting a lot more. So our hip flexors are getting tight. So not only is it stretching out through the front of the chest, if you have your legs out straight, these hip flexors that come up under the back of the rib cage, at the back of the spine, to the thighs, are also getting some length here too. Okay, so it's two things that are happening. Okay, just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And remember, if this is not comfortable for you, you've probably got the ball in the wrong position. So moving it up or down, or placing an extra block underneath your head, or bending the knees and having the feet on the floor. Okay, so just breathing in, breathing out. Just do this a couple more times. See if you can release this diaphragm. I'm actually feeling quite tight in my diaphragm this morning, so expanding these little intercostal muscles at the side of the rib cage as well, get everything moving in the ribs. This also allows the internal organs to relax back and release too. Okay, just place the feet back on the floor, and I'm just going to move the ball so it's a bit more comfortable for me. Then just gently place those hands back underneath the skull. No need to pick the head up too much, and let's lift those elbows. So let's go back into that flex forwards, and I'm looking towards the knees. Can you see my elbows are forwards? I'm not dropping the shoulders back. I've actually, if we just go into that a few times, can you see I'm moving my shoulder blades away from each other behind me. Now it was already forwards, we're going to just slightly tip it to the right, circle around to the left, and then back to centre. Around to the right, around to the left, and back to centre. You can exaggerate this movement and make it a bit bigger if you wish, or just keep it quite small and controlled. So just allowing the upper rib cage to move around, and hold it here. Let's go around the other way. So up, around, and centre. Okay, another two. Another one. And lower the head back down. Now we're going to place the arms down by the side. I'm going to shift my hips over to the right, roll to the left, and bring yourself up to sit. Now there's another version you can do with the ball under the chest, which you're going to move into now. Okay, so I'm going to lie down onto my stomach, and then we'll do some under the rib cage as well, onto the side. So under your rib cage, mainly focusing on the breastbone, place that underneath the chest, have the arms just in a comfortable position, maybe hands underneath the forehead. Try not to let the shoulders hunch up to the ears, just let them soften down. Check it's in the middle. So I've got a space of about an inch away from my chin to the ball. Okay, so from there I'm just going to roll the ball forwards, lifting the head up, and then coming back in. I'm just going to bring that ball a little bit closer, so feel free to play around with it. I know some of you don't like using the ball underneath the chest, so if you want to do this exercise without it, that's fine. Okay, so I've got really heavy thigh bones into the floor, so that's protecting my back. Only a tiny bit of push with the pubic bone into the floor, otherwise you feel like you're pressing the knees down. Okay, so top of the thigh bones pressing into the mat, pushing the ball forwards with the front ribs, breathing in at the top, and then breathing out to come back in. So remember, we're trying to take that spine into extension. Okay, so we want to think about the upper part of your spine. So from your thoracic upwards, I don't want too much going on to that lumbar. If you're feeling it all here, you need to think about just about this area here upwards, extending and flexing. So make it a smaller movement, and then gradually in time increase the range of movement. So up and lift, and back and down. Breathe out, push it forwards. In breath at the top, out breath, pull it back in. Okay, so notice how it's opening out the collarbones at the front of the chest as you lift up, and then the collarbones come towards each other as you come back down, and it creates some space for the shoulder blades behind you. Okay, so in breath, open the chest, out breath, open the upper back. Last one. And then we're going to push ourselves back. If you've got any knee issues, be careful with this. Okay, you might not want to go into your child's pose. We're just going to stretch out and relax those shoulders. Maybe if you've got knee issues, you can come onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. Okay, now we're going to come up and place the ball underneath the left side of your rib cage first, and then we'll switch over sides. Okay, so it needs to be sitting in the gap between your ribs and your pelvis. I don't want the pelvis on top or the ribs completely on top, somewhere in between the two. Okay, so let that left hip just relax. Extend the bottom arm. If you have any shoulder impingements, you can bring your left arm forwards and have a cushion underneath. I'm just going to place my left arm underneath me. and the right arm is coming over the top. Same thing here too. Remember, if you've got any shoulder issues, you can bring your arm forwards and maybe play around with that position. I'm going to have my left hand grab the right wrist. I'm just going to lengthen the arm out, lengthen the leg, and just open out those intercostal muscles. And the ball underneath me is pushing those ribs up, so I just get a little bit more openness through those lower ribs. Okay, and then place the hand down onto the floor, push yourself up, and we'll do the same on the other side. So bring a cushion with you if you're going to use it. Okay, so put it underneath the waist, in between the ribs to pelvis, extend the bottom arm out, or cushion with the hand in front of you, and then bring that left arm over the top, right hand holds the wrist, pull it out, lengthen the arm and leg. Breathe in, breathe out, lengthen a little bit more, reach the leg, reach the arm, and bring that hand back down and push yourself up to sit. So if you wanted to, you could put that on pause and go back to having the ball underneath the shoulder blades, or maybe continue with another short little class that I'm going to do later on, and have a lovely day. Well done. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.